Welcome everybody to RPG Renegades, and we're currently playing the fantastic game City of Mist, and we're on episode 7. If you've been watching or you just happen to catch along, why don't you, as all YouTubers say, press the subscribe for the next episode. We tend to play some of our games fortnightly, and they usually come out on a Monday evening in the UK time. So that's roughly the schedule, but click subscribe and like it, share it if you want, and I hope you're enjoying it if you're watching.
And if you hit the little bell, then you get an email update that when a new video comes out.
Yeah. And Jef sends you a prize every time the bell goes. Okay, so
Yahoo!
Let's kick off this episode, and we're if last episode we finished up in Ambrosia, brand new nightclub. It's the hippest place in town. Tonight our team, our guys, Raj, Vinzer and Sam have found their way there. Potentially they're going to meet somebody from the auction that they were at, but they're going to check it out. They've kind of had a bit of a hard day with dark, ominous visions and fighting scary monsters from the nether realm or the darkness at the auction house, and so they're trying to wind down a little bit at this cool and expensive chic nightclub, the Ambrosia. So we'll show you a picture and we'll set the scene.
The person we're meeting, was that Charles?
Charles, and I think his buddy was going to come along. Charles, what was the other chap's name now? I'll find out shortly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Mick, go ahead. Set the scene for us.
As you walk into the Ambrosia, the hottest nightclub in town, your eyes slowly adjust to the room. There's a palpable buzz in the atmosphere. The tables around the stage are bathed in a crimson glow. In fact, the whole place is bathed in that glow like an invitation to another world of revelry, pleasure, and a palace of forgetfulness, where the pain and daily grind of your life can disappear, even for a time.
As you guys come into this scene, before you, the atmosphere is rich, and you decide to find a seat. You decide rather to find a seat, and the place is getting filled up really quickly. But Raj, you immediately spot Charles Anders standing to his feet when he spots you, and he's waving enthusiastically over to you, and they have clinched, they must have got here early, they've clinched a table very close to the stage there. Charles waves at you and beckon you over. There's somebody else at the table there as well. I think it's Greg Sutton, the guy from the auction house. And then the ceiling lights dim and fade to black.
Now only that crimson light remains and seems to deepen. Then, from the dark above, a single white spotlight suddenly illuminates a beautiful woman. No, a goddess on the stage. You feel it. Every eye in the room, every heart and mind is transfixed in expectation. The room holds its breath. Transfixed, her song speaking right to you, like you already know her from some dream or past life maybe. Her sultry tones speak of sadness and a need for love, as she admits she's a creep.
You're just like an angel. Your skin makes me cry. You float like a feather in a beautiful world. I wish I was special.
As you all sit down with Charles and Greg, the voice of this woman is just captivates the whole room. And as she sings the words, I wish I was special, you're so very special. You guys are so close, just a few yards away from where she's standing, and as she looks out, Sam, it's as if she looks right into your eyes and catches you in that moment, and she wishes she was special, and you're so very special, and you kind of get this intense feeling that she's singing it right to you in that moment, you know. And the place is just, you know, it's like you could hear a pin drop as the music's going, and as she's singing her song. Nobody really wants to talk at this point because of the atmosphere. So here we are now, social experience rather than over at the auction, which was supposed to be an investigation experience, turned out a bit horrific, and you guys really need a break, need to kind of calm down. And Charles is really on for him. He's pleased to see you. He seems to have just taken a real liking to you, Raj. And Greg, who was the guy that compiled, you might remember, he was the guy that compiled the auctions catalogue. So I'd like to thank Postmodern Jukebox for their permission for using the song for this episode. I was really chuffed that they were able to do that. And that particular song is a Radiohead cover by Hayley Reinhardt. The song was Creep. So thank you very much, Postmodern Jukebox. Check them out.
They're fantastic. I've been listening to them for years, and I love every single cover that they come out with.
Yeah. Yeah, they're amazing. They have made music very interesting. So, who would like to do an investigate for me? Who's in the mood for just checking out the joint? And who would like to just have a nosy or scan about the place?
Well, first of all, I think I would like to just get my character sheet out, because I forgot to do that. Right. There we are.
I feel a bit
I'd
distracted.
like to let someone else do it, because I think I'm sort of monopolising the investigations a bit.
You and your blazing eyes and lights coming out your ears, nose and mouth and who knows where else.
Yeah, I'm just going to sit back and enjoy my apple juice for a minute.
Fair
Who
enough.
knows where else? What? That took a strange turn. Yeah, I'm feeling like I'm distracted and like, what just happened? I feel like I kind of got ran over by the bus. So maybe Vinzer?
I think you might actually need to face some danger here, the danger of falling in love, Sam. So I want you to check your character sheet and have a look at any weaknesses or tags that you have that is to do with relational connection.
Well, I have the weakness that you gave me when we created the character, which was always looking for Miss Right.
Oh, there we go.
Uh-oh.
What's your tags, your positives? What's your tags that you've got?
Um,
Kind of relational ones.
charming and charisma,
Mm-hmm.
banter and chat, good listener, word on the street, maybe.
Okay, so this
turns into cartoon wolf.
well, that you never forget that movie after you seen it, you know. I'm gonna ask you to do a face danger versus falling in love, right? And I'm gonna ask you to take that weakness as a -1, and I'm gonna get you to take a good listener because you are absolutely, like everybody else, enraptured by this song. But in this case, it's used against you because you're totally caught up in the moment. So you've got a -2 to a straight roll.
2 dice. Oh boy. I got a 2 and a 1.
Brilliant. Love it. Okay. It's not often you ask people to do it, and you know there's always a chance involved to do a roll when it goes exactly the way you want it to go. So it says on the move face danger on a 79, which you are nowhere near, you take a status with a -1 tier, and on a miss, you take a full status, okay? So you have missed, and I am giving you the status smitten, all right? The girl's name that was singing is Evangeline, okay? So she was introduced as Evangeline, and they kind of made a big deal about her when they introduced her. So you're smitten. The two of you maybe glance over and see Sam looking. You're not sure if he had a particularly potent drink or something's just happened. You maybe he's gone into a vision or something like that. Raj might think, you know.
Was it grapefruit juice? That's very potent. Pamplemousse. That's this. Oh dear! Don't drink the pamplemousse juice.
Smitten by Evangeline. Okay, so who was going to do an investigate? Anybody want to kind of just have a nosy and just go for a dice roll and see what you get with it? Tag anything you want.
Yeah, I think I'll do it this time. Well, I know for sure seeing Sam like enraptured with this singer. He's like looking and like connecting the invisible line between his eyes and the singer, and he's like, I gotta get me a drink, I guess. And investigating, like I'm just trying to figure out what I'm.
What's your tags? It's kind of checking people out, I guess you could just say, you know, in a general sense. It's nothing particularly specific or difficult, I would say.
Now, do they have as we're here at the table, are they having people like come by and take orders for drinks, or is there like a bar that I can go up to?
There's both. There is a big on your left hand side of the room. There is a really plush big bar. On the right hand of the room, there is booths, and on the rear of the room, there's also booths, and there's a small balcony at the back as well. But okay. Yeah, there's a long bar the whole length of the wall on the left hand side.
I think I personally think, unless you have something else going on with it, but
go ahead.
That Vinzer would mosey over to the bar to get himself a stronger drink than I guess it was currently here, but like being there at the bar, kind of poking his nose in other people's business and see what else is
okay.
See what's going on.
Yep.
Looking at my tags, I'm not sure if I have something specifically for that. I'm not using like my shadows or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in public. Maybe underworld connections if I hear somebody mention something about that. But I can't think of anything otherwise.
Right. Well, why don't you? Because of what you're doing, so you're really kind of putting yourself in an observation role, like you did when you went to the rooftops, you know. So I'll give you a +1 for that, and just do a roll and see what comes up.
Okay. With the 1, it gets me an 8.
Okay. Well, that's a success.
Okay.
We won't bother about the technicalities of it. As you're maybe kind of leaning at the bar, it's busy at the bar, so you've maybe got to wait 2 or 3 minutes. You're listening to hear what's going on. Maybe the thought strikes you, I need to switch off, man. You know, we're supposed to be here. We're supposed to be here enjoying ourselves, you know, and it's like maybe you have a flashback to when you did that rooftop observation, you know, earlier on in the story. And it's funny that you have that thought, because you realize that you're kind of thinking about that, so you're not really looking at this moment as you're leaning at the bar. And at that point, the drink is getting kind of passed to the side of you. You've already paid for it. And as you look across the room, as the girl is, Evangeline is beginning to wind up the song, and it's going into, it kind of goes into a crescendo, and then it's back to the soft brushes on the drum and things like that. You realize that your gaze is right on the guy that you saw when you were on the rooftop, who spoke to Raj. He had a long coat on. He looked like a police or detective or somebody like that. And you see him, he kind of stands out like a sore thumb, because his kind of bar would probably be Sam's bar,
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's just because of the movement of the lights or the spotlight or whatever, but you see him, and you see sitting next to him at a table is a very attractive Hispanic looking girl, and across from her is a young guy with glasses on, kind of thick tousled hair, kind of wild hair. Looks like he's not brushed it for a week. And the three of them are there. And I suppose the other thing that strikes you about it is this: they don't look like they should really be hanging out together, right? Because she's got a dress on, but you're sure she might be physically the girl that spoke to the detective or the guy in the trench coat. There was a girl that walked up to him, but she was dressed up like almost like combats, that night. But you're not sure if it's her, because she's quite attractive looking in her long black dress. So here they are at the same bar as you guys. Maybe they're just chilling out too. Who knows?
And the guy, forgive me because that was like episode 1, I think.
Yeah.
Was he the actual detective, or was he just a bystander?
You remember he gave Raj a card, and it was pretty basic, but it said something like special investigator or something like that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't recall it actually saying where he was employed.
Yes. It was kind of very plain number, a name and a number, and kind of investigator. And Raj, maybe it's kind of beginning to come back to you. Raj thought initially he was maybe to do with the college campus, but probably not. And Raj hasn't noticed them. They're sitting a little bit further back. They're actually in the tables, but they're towards the rear of the room, and that's probably how you never saw them earlier. Okay.
And they're, at the moment I see them, they're looking at the stage.
Yeah, they're more having a conversation, and occasionally the girl especially is kind of looking about, and she looks like she's checking out the joint, but quite professional. That she's doing it quite discreetly.
I'm going to kind of walk closer to their table and see if I can overhear their conversation. And like, if I have something in mind, if they happen to pick me out or notice me or anything like that. But in the meantime, I'd like to get near the table and just casually, just kind of like sipping my drink and pretend like I'm looking at the stage.
Mm-hmm. You're not moving any shadows or anything like that. You're just being a normal punter. Yep. Walking by. Yeah.
Yep. Like you said when I was at the bar, switching off a little bit.
Yeah. So as you approach, you can see they're talking. You can see on the table he has a brown folder, like a cardboard folder, and it looks like there's some bits of paper in it, but they're not out. They're not lying out. He's got his hand on top of it. In fact, he's got a large glass of whiskey or something like that resting on top of it, and they're talking. the guy with the glasses and the kind of unkempt hair, he's got a phone that's kind of almost like a tablet, you know. It's a phone that folds. I don't know if you've seen these new phones that are kind of,
the screen itself folds.
Yeah. And he's kind of tapping away, and he's showing the girl and the guy. It looks like it's a picture, some pictures like faces on it, but you can't make out what's on it. As you get closer, because you're maybe lingering a little bit as you realise there's this kind of conversation going on, the girl clocks you, and she just gives a wee kind of mutters something, and then one of them cracks a joke, and they kind of change the subject when you're nearby.
Vinzer, like he like looks at her. Like, did I notice that she clocks me? Like, she okay.
She doesn't make it obvious. I mean, but she looks at you right in the eye, and straight away she's like, mutter.
If she makes eye contact, like again, if I catch her eye again, I'm just like sipping the drink. I'm like, I give her a wink. I'm like,
yeah,
it's a good song, right?
Well, like that kind of, you know, kind of friendly thing. She's just like, you can see in her eyes immediately, I am not interested, buddy. All right.
Don't worry, wouldn't be the first time I've been turned down.
And then the guy with the wild hair says something kind of funny, and she goes, boom, and punches him right in the arm. Like, she gives him a dead arm, you know, so you could tell the guy's like, oh, you know. And even though she's really gorgeous, actually, you know, she's a really good looking girl, but she can pack a punch, you know. So whatever's going on, he obviously made some comment that you're maybe giving her the eye or something. Who knows?
Well, if I've noticed that they've kind of changed the subject, I want to bring it up to Raj's attention. So I know he's got probably a conversation going on with his friend, but I'm going to head back to our table to try and get a moment to bring it up to him.
Sure. Okay, so you head back and you're there, and the guys are just chit-chatting, really. There's no, unless there's something you want to ask them about the auction, it's really a kind of social conversation, if you like, with the guys.
Okay.
Raj or Sam's still seeing stars, but the girl that sang, she goes off, the light dims, and they're now kind of playing some soft music just now, having a little break at the moment.
So if there's like this, like a moment of silence at the table, then I just kind of like lean into the table to Raj a little bit and say, hey Raj, but back at the college, you talked to some guy, an investigator or something. He gave you a card, right?
He did, yes. I'll rummage around in my pocket and see if I can find it. And here you are. Yes, this was him. It's not much of a card. Lawrence Keaton. It's a bit
Mind if I say it real quick?
Yeah. What sort of card is it? Is it a professionally made card, or is it the sort of card that you'd get printed up in one of those machines at a railway station?
No, it's a professional card. It's just it looks like it on purpose. It's just not given too much information. It's like a contact. It's literally a contact number card. You know, it says special investigator, and it's his number. And that's really all that's on it. But it's not cheap, you know.
But it's a plain card, or like, because I'm thinking that if there's maybe like something about it that has some sort of maybe like hidden identification or something like that, or is it just like a basic like?
No, it's just a basic card
stock. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just got his name and then like a number.
Mm-hmm.
Am I able to use the World Wide Web to see if I can Google the number or if it's not Google, Foogle or whatever it is that we're using.
Yeah, you can Google it and nothing comes up with any
What did
info.
we say? Didn't we
It's
have
an
a search?
It's an alternate universe, so it will be something completely weird that we wouldn't ever have in this universe. Like Ask Jeeves.
Strudel.com. So
the German search engine.
Yeah. So you won't get any information on the number.
Okay.
Unless you're another character called Override, but you're not, so.
Strudel.de.
Mike's going to order us all in a pastry.
Do they deliver? That's the question.
I've looked at it and it says, "Mind ihr nicht, wir konnten untersch-" No, I can't understand. Why are those the words that came into my mind in German? That's the lyrics of a bloody Einstürzende Neubauten song.
One of the host, what do you call them? Waitresses. One of the waitresses come round with a little tray and picks up any empties, and she slips a wee note down on the table next to you, Sam. We folded over note, and asks if you want another drink.
The note asks if I want a drink.
No, she asks everybody at the table.
That's a very shy waitress.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Can I get you a refill or perhaps the check?
Yeah, I'll have another drink. I'm trying to decide. I'm trying to be good here because I have an issue with alcohol, so I'm trying to get a club soda.
Okay, fair enough. She says, "Sure, no problem. What about you, sir?" She says to you, Raj.
I'll have another apple juice, please. I've had one already. Going to my head.
She laughs kind of politely, and kind of she has a look in her face as if this guy must be some old fuddy-duddy. What about you, Vinzer?
I hold up my drink that I just got from the bar. I'm still nursing.
No problem. And then Charles and what's his name? Charles and Greg get another drink each, order one of them. Away she goes.
So I will open the note, I guess.
Do you want to look at it privately, or do you want to share it?
Yeah, just kind of hold it under the table, like, what's this all about?
Okay. I will send you a message, just in case you want to be funny about it. And while I'm doing that, Vinzer, as you're kind of talking to Raj about the guys, because I don't know if you've mentioned that they're actually sitting at the back, but
no, I haven't yet.
You think, you're not sure, but the older guy, the detective kind of guy, you think he spotted Raj, and it looks like they were talking, and he just kind of, his head kind of went to the side a bit. And obviously the Raj has got his turban on, and although the room's dark, when the lights are shifting, he's probably a bit more obvious than any of the rest of you.
It is sort of the higher visibility orange, essentially. So yeah,
it is, yeah. And so after it looks like he spotted Raj, he says he kind of immediately says something to his friends or colleagues.
So about this card, Raj, I'm pretty sure I saw that guy when I went over to the bar there. Not only that, but one of the other girls that you talked to on the campus, she's at the same table with him. And some other dude, I have no idea kind of looks like an asshole. I'm not sure.
Why is that? Because he's got a wild hairdo.
Wild hairdo, the glasses, indoors. Wait, sunglasses or regular glasses?
At that point, somebody on stage just hit the big drum, like boom, like that. Just I don't know. It was maybe a bit of that kind of weird jazz stuff, you know.
But the other thing I couldn't help but notice when I saw them, it looks like they were looking like right at you before I came over here.
Me, I'm going to sort of. Can I see them from where I am without turning round?
We'll say that you need to turn round, but
Can I sort of do that? Adjust my turban and go and look through my arm to see me doing it, like you do when you're about 13 and you're looking at someone you fancy.
have you got a little, mirror or something like that? You kind of get the mirror out.
Only attached to the car, only in the taxi. I could drive the taxi in and look in the mirror.
Well, could you not
Go
just
out and get the mirror from the taxi?
Could you not just materialize it in the?
I was going to say, could I just teleport behind them, have a look at them, and then come back?
Vinzer, you spot something there right now in the chat page. That's
He's coming right this way. He's coming here right now. I don't know if
over here.
Yeah. Like walking to me. I don't know. One of us.
you see.
Okay. Act natural. Just don't let on see him come. Just play cool.
As he walks towards you, he's a big guy, really broad shoulders. He's actually taking that big long coat off, even though he was wearing it in the club. He's got a kind of white or cream shirt on. It's rolled up at the sleeves. He's got a tie on, but it's loose, and his collar's loose, and it looks like he's done about 12 hours already today at least. And he walks right towards you, and he says, "Hey, you," to you, Raj.
Ah, Mr. Keaton. How are you? How unusual to see you here.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing myself. What are you doing in a classy joint like this? Hey, what am I doing in a classy joint like this?
I think he's saying you're not classy.
I'm just going to wait for him to say something else now. Tonga's just stand there. I would sit there just looking slightly uncomfortable.
So he basically, it doesn't look like he would be fazed, to be honest, by feeling that uncomfortable. You get the impression he's a bit, hard-nosed, kind of seen more than his fair share of the rough corners of life. And he seems at home in his own self. He's not, bothered about the situation at all. He just says, I'm just surprised to see you here. It's only been, 2 or 3 nights since I saw you last?
Did you find anything out about the business that occurred in the college, school, college, university, college?
While he's talking to Raj, you can tell that he's like, it's just like literally his eyes flicking between Vinzer, Sam, Charles, and Greg, and he's kind of like doing a quick review mentally, who's this, and he says, yeah, it's ongoing. We've got a couple of people. We've got a couple of people in the jail, and those that are able to tell us anything, it's an ongoing situation. But it's mighty strange to see you both the other night and here again. Is this somewhere you've been before? Since it's this bar, by the way, has probably been open just 5 or 6 months, so it's
no. This is well, you know how it is. As a taxi driver, see, people are always talking about where the most popular places are, and if you're nice to the people who run the club, and if you get in with them, right people, then sometimes when someone's had a few drinks and they say to the barman, "Oh, can you call me a cab?" If you're on good terms with the barman, then you're the cabbie the barman calls. And with places like this, the people who go to places like this tip quite well. So
yeah, I guess they would.
Really, it's work,
What about your friends here? Are they in the taxi business as well?
No, they're in the entertainment industry, and just having a look at the competition, as it were, seeing what the public are looking for nowadays.
Greg's already had no, not Greg. Charles has already had 2 or 3 drinks already, and he's kind of a little bit excitable kind of guy. And he's like, "Hi there, Charles Sander. I work for auctions and blah blah blah," and he starts spilling the beans about what he does. He says to you, Raj. He says, "Well, we could maybe do with a good set of eyes. Maybe you should come over to. We're sitting at the back here. Come over to the table and maybe I could give you a job or 2."
Oh, well, yes, of course. Yes. Would you chaps, would you gentlemen excuse me for a moment? I'm just going to go and talk a bit of business with this gentleman.
He turns to you, Vinzer, and you kind of get a feeling like he's almost looking right through you with his professional, eye. And he's like, "What about yourself? What do you do?"
Like Raj said, the entertainment industry.
You're a DJ or something?
Record label, trying to see about signing the lady up here.
Yeah, that'd be a good shout.
I think I saw you earlier, right? I was asking you guys if you thought she had a good voice. I mean, I'm just trying to gauge the audience at this point.
Oh yeah. Oh, you're the guy that was checking out Carla.
Well, purely in a professional manner. I mean,
well, I can tell you she can't sing to save herself, so I wouldn't even bother trying. Anyway, Raj, come on up. Let's have a little chat.
Well, I'll just make my excuses and go off with him.
What about you, Sam? What are you up to?
I think I've gotten up just prior to all of this, and I'm headed over to the bar.
Okay.
Where did Sam go? I was the shinobi.
Maybe Sam's in a strange mood tonight. He was really googly-eyed when that girl was up singing. Now he's disappearing to the bar without saying anything.
And they call it puppy love.
So you go over to the table and Lawrence introduces you to his 2 friends. He says, "This is sorry. What's your second name, Raj?"
Singh.
This is Raj Singh. Dan. This is Dan, and this is Carla, and they work with me.
How do you do?
And the guy's just like, "Hi there," and the girl's like looks a wee bit more suspiciously at you, and then she glances to him like, "What are you doing? What's happening here right now?" And the guy's got his kind of fold open phone, and he kind of closes it down just as you come down. You can see there's a cardboard folder lying on the table, and he says, "Take a seat, Raj." He says, "How long have you been working in the city?"
Oh, on a couple of years, on and off.
And where were you before that?
Here and there. I'm not overly keen about the idea of discussing my immigration status with strangers. That's the subtext I'm trying to put across at this point.
Yeah.
I've got a green card. Might not necessarily have a work permit.
Yeah.
We all know how it is.
So he said, I don't know if you remember our conversation when we chatted at the college about some of the stuff that was going on around there. Some kind of drug issues.
Oh yes, yes. You said there was some new drug, and it had been making people act most peculiarly.
Yeah, well, the thing is, this drug doesn't seem to be readily available. It seems to be quite a narrow situation. And as he's beginning to tell you this story, you see the girl, Carla, frowning a little bit, like, why is he talking to, like, a total stranger about all this stuff, you know? He says he looks at Dan, the young guy, and he says, Dan, just pull out a photograph for me of this Leroy guy. So Dan opens a folder without really letting you see anything else, and he pulls. Jef, if you don't mind, could you pull out put up rather picture? Let me see. It's number 6. So there's a picture of a dude in a Stetson hat, and he's standing next to a car. Now, just forget about the fact Ambrosia is behind it in this image, but that's what the guy looks like. And he says, I want you to keep your eye out, Raj, and there'll be, you know, a little bit extra in it for you. It'll be better than doing a hire, you know. And if you see this guy about town at all, he says, I just have a gut feeling about you that you're the kind of guy that might just come across somebody like this.
Well, do you have any idea what kind of what part of town he frequents?
Well, at the moment, we've got some intel that he's been around here. That's why we're here tonight. So, yeah. Other than that, we know that there's some kind of connection with the college because of what happened the other night. But when we investigated it, we found out that he seems to be around. He goes by the name of Leroy Kane, I think. We understand his second name is. But this isn't a mobster or a big time dealer. But we're dealing with a lot of stuff back at HQ where some of these people are literally out of their minds, and other people are talking about, you know, spooky, crazy cosmic experiences, you know. So this spiral dust is pretty potent, and we don't want it getting out on the streets.
Well, I understand, yes. Well, obviously, I'll keep my eyes open. I mean, you know, it goes without saying that, I mean, dealing with a drug like this is, you know, it's for the good of the community as well, isn't it? So I'd only be too happy to help. Yeah.
Appreciate that. He says, do you remember a face well?
Oh, yes, I can remember. He's a very memorable looking fellow, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. So on your rounds, if you're near the college or if you're over this neck of the woods, just keep your eye out for him. We know it's been circulated at the college. We know it's been circulated here. It's obviously higher end here, although students aren't known for being that rich, you know, but it has an effect on them. It has a long-term effect on them, actually. And then he says, hold on just a moment. And he lifts the folder open, and he there's another couple of pictures you see in there, and I'll maybe get you, Jef, to pop one up for me. It is number 5. Number 5. It's a bunch of stuff lying out in the picture. So when he does that, you can tell this guy, you can tell this guy, he's like an old school cop, this guy. He's not really going by the rules. He shouldn't really be showing you this stuff, but he just has a gut feeling about you, something about you. He says, you can see the photograph of that eye. He said a lot of these spiralers are the guys that take it, the girls that take it, they wear glasses because it affects their iris.
My goodness.
And they have this kind of weird effect. And it's a really powerful hallucinogenic and really, really dangerous. So
Good Lord.
he slips you $20 and says, you know, you just keep your eye out for me. Keep in touch. You've got my number, right?
Yes, of course.
I really appreciate it. And at that, Carla gets up. She looks a little bit miffed, actually. That you realize that he's definitely her boss here with the dynamics that are going on. You realize the young guy is quite kind of techie looking. He's got all the gadgets there, and he just kind of looks that way. But she's a bit miffed that he's just shown some evidence to some random taxi driver that she's never met, although he has met you before. So she says, I'm going to just go and check outside, boss. And she gets up and walks outside. So obviously she's just a bit peeved that he's sharing intel. And he says, keep in touch and keep your eye out. And if you see anyone, even if you see somebody with their eyes like that, if you have any passengers and you're concerned, get them down to the station and ask for me.
Okay. Yes, of course.
Thanks, Raj. You're a good guy.
Well, you know, I'll seem like I'm keen to help, but at the same time, I'd like to try and sort of give the impression that I'm not entirely sure why he's asked me, but you know, I'm trying to keep it low key.
Cool.
I think I'm quite a little bit worried that he might know about things that I can do. I don't like that idea.
Maybe you give him a slightly strange look, and he says, before you go, he says, yeah, not that strange. He says, before you go, one of the guys, I know how I said this was a hallucinogenic, one of the guys said, you were glowing down at the square.
So I was glowing?
Yeah, that's how crazy they are.
Oh, dear, oh dear.
But
that
anyway.
Sounds like horrible stuff.
Yeah, keep in touch. So we'll cut from that to over at the bar. Sam's at the bar. Not his usual kind of bar. His bar's got lots of grooves and dents in it and isn't quite as highly polished or as smooth as this bar. And anybody that would glance over would see that there's the singer that was singing the song is actually at the bar. And Sam's going over to the bar and there's the singer standing there, leaning against the bar. Sam.
The age-old opening line, how you doing?
Very good.
Yeah, I'll offer to buy her a drink.
She says, hello. I spotted you from the stage. She's got a bit of an accent. Not really strong, it's just got a little edge to it. Might be, I don't know, Mediterranean. She says to you, what are you having? Apple juice.
No, I'm gonna make something up. But I'm trying to think, what's a classy drink? Scotch.
Okay, just get me a cocktail.
Sure, and I'll try to flag the bartender down, and then I'll just, I was just amazed at your voice up there on stage. You're an incredible singer.
She said, oh, thank you, darling. I just do what I can. I love doing what I do, and I don't, I've not really been a professional for a long time, but this was a This was an opportunity too good to miss. And you know, she's been quite humble about it, because, you know, everybody in that room was caught by her voice. You know, it was so amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, what do you do with yourself, Sam? Well, I guess you've said your name.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I'll say that. Yeah, I run a similar bar, not too far from here. Well, I don't know if I'd say similar, but I also run a bar.
She laughs and says, "Oh, a bartender having a night off at the bar, another bar.
Yeah.
You checking out the competition?" She
This
says,
is
well,
the new place in town.
"Well, I'm glad you did, Sam."
Me too.
She drinks her cocktail and says, "I believe this could be the beginning of a beautiful friendship."
Yeah.
And then we have small talk, and, you know, I'm not going to chat you up, you know, in game, but
Come on, role play.
but needless to say, for some reason or another, she seems to have taken a bit of a liking to you. It was that moment when your eyes met, you know. You kind of feel that she's probably way out of your league and she's used to money, you know. You can tell the way she talks. You maybe ask about her accent and she tells you, you know, she's from Greece originally, and her parents came over from Greece, and her father's in business and stuff, and her mum passed away, and, you know, kind of just wee bits of life, but doesn't give away too much, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But little bits of life. And maybe reading between the lines, she didn't really need to work, you know. But our singing is what she loves.
Can I ask her what she meant by? I think you used the words. She couldn't pass up the opportunity or something like that.
Yeah, to actually. So this is like a regular job for her now here, where she sings. She's on every week, and occasionally she does like another show with some of the other folks as well. So she's kind of like a weekly singer, because the way this she'll maybe tell you that the actual bar's owned by a Native American guy and his family, who came in with some money into the city and just built up the bar a few months ago. And the sister of the owner runs the show, and she's quite nice. But they heard her sing somewhere else, and she was just made an offer to basically come and be a weekly slot, you know. So she's on once a week, and sometimes she's on twice a week.
Mm-hmm.
She says to you, maybe we should go out down the coast sometime, check out some of the scenery. You look like you need a little break from all that bar work.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
So, back to the table, the other side. Anything else? Unless you want to ask her anything else, Sam?
I'll probably leave it with I'll invite her to sing at my bar sometime.
Right.
And
okay.
then afterwards be like, that was stupid. And then now it sounds like I'm trying to hire her for business as opposed to like being friends.
Well, maybe she sees a little doubt in your mind after you say it. You know, you're maybe not quite hitting your head in front of her, but, you know, she maybe sees a little doubt and, you know, a glance or something in your eye that you're like, oh, wait a minute, I can't really ask her to my bar, you know. And she says, oh, I would come and sing at your bar for free. Don't worry about it.
I'm picturing the, I don't know if you know this or not, but the Chris Farley, when he interviews like the famous musicians, he's like,
yeah,
hits himself in the head.
and then you have a
This is a really
second
stupid
kind of
question.
yeah. Yeah, you almost have you almost do slap your head a second time when you just remember you've got all these immigrants that came out of the container running around the bar and all that. And
All right, everybody out! Come on, clear out.
the kind of homeless folks and all that at your bar. So and then you think of the crazy kind of trolley lady, cart lady, that comes in and tells your fortune. You think, what kind of disaster this would be if she actually discovered where your bar is, Cool. She says, well, Sam, I've got to go back up. I've got another song to sing. So I'll maybe see you later, honey.
Yeah, great.
And she writes down her number for you.
Mm-hmm.
So
mosey back to the table.
Mm-hmm. So Raj, have you come back to the table now?
Yes, I have.
Anything you guys want to speak to the other boys about, Charles or Greg?
No, only really sort of small talk, really.
That's fine.
Although I'd be intrigued to know if there are any ramifications after that auction with the things breaking and everything. Did they ever find out what caused that?
Well, this is like the evening of the late evening, because it's late on now. We must be around about midnight by now. Of that day, so Greg tells you he'll find out in the morning what's really going on, but he hopes that the auctioneer's all right. He was kind of worried about what happened there, but like most of the people, they were almost the security guys and that at the auction kind of got people out as quick as they could, and then an ambulance came and stuff, so he's not really sure everything. They'll maybe find out in the morning, So he says to Charles, we could just pull an all-nighter, Charles, if you want. I can just go in bleary-eyed because I don't think there'll be a lot getting done tomorrow. We'll maybe need a taxi home, Raj.
Oh, yes, of course. I'd be glad to help.
Vinzer, as you're listening to Chit Chat, you notice that on the table where the detective guy is, where Lawrence is, there's what's the lad's name? Dan. Dan picks up his phone or flips it open and he just talks into it. He's using an earpiece and stuff, so he doesn't even need to hold it up. And he says something to Lawrence, and he gets up and he heads for the door. The girl's still missing. She's still away.
I think Vinzer's initial thought is to kind of follow him and see where he goes.
Okay. Do you want to do that naturally or mysteriously?
I think I want to. I want to kind of. I do want to be like kind of incognito about it. So thinking about how much I want to actually dabble with the shadows here. I think for the most part, I'm just gonna hang back a little bit until, like, kind of playing as he goes, like watching where he's heading, and then if it comes to like a more open area or anything like that, I'll probably switch up how I'm following him.
Yeah. Okay, so you're just gonna stroll out, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, just kind of keeping an eye on him in my peripheral. And do we lose Ken? He kind of froze up.
Yeah, the computer's doing something funny.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So he heads right out the front doors. So you're following him out there?
Yep.
Okay. So you see as soon as you go through the door, you see the girl Carla. She's standing in the inside of the entryway. He joins her, and then immediately she spots that you've just walked out the door as well, and she's like, gives you a kind of steely look for like 3 seconds or something like that. You know, she's just like, here's this dude again, you know, kind of look. And Dan, the other guy, he just nods to her and says something, and he goes out the door and turns right. She kind of takes another glance at you, and she goes out the door and turns left.
And this is like the lobby to the place. Okay.
So there's a kind of double doors, and then you've kind of got the lobby or the entryway, which is all nicely lit, and then there's a stairway going up to a casino, and then there's another double door right out onto the street.
I'm gonna wait like 3 seconds, and then kind of like pull out my phone and start like looking like I'm dialing the number for a cab, and then step outside the front doors and just kind of look around and see if I see either one of them. I guess more specifically, I was following the guy, so I would look to the right then. That's where you said you went, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yep. So he's walking up the street, and you're not sure what they're looking for exactly, but it's as if they're on alert. You know, there is there's a kind of wealthy-looking, kind of 30-something woman and a slightly younger girl, and they look like they're drunk or out their face or something like that, you know. And so he kind of just stops nearby them, is watching them to see what's happening. There's plenty of folk that have had a good drink, you know, but they're obviously, the two of them are going different directions and they're scouting. Why don't you do another investigate for me? Feel free to tag anything you want to tag.
I'm gonna tag, I know every street in the city.
Fair enough.
Ooh. That gets me a 10.
Okay, nice. So I'll say that before they do, you spot a guy with a long coat and a Stetson hat on, standing next to a very large old school black car. I think it's a Firebird.
It's the same car that I saw moving away from the university.
It's exactly the same one, and it's same as the picture that we pulled up a little while ago when Raj saw the photo.
How busy is like the street way here, or is it pretty much?
It's very busy. There's lots of folk. There's still people kind of arriving. It's now hitting about 1 o'clock in the morning or close to. You know, there's still people coming in, you know, to check out the bar, and there's also people beginning to leave. So you've kind of got that, you know, traffic going both ways kind of thing. You know, you think the guy's preoccupied because you think he's trying to suss out if the two women that he was watching are on some kind of substance, you know. So maybe they've had a tip off, you don't know, hence the kind of rush. But Carla's going the opposite way, and she's kind of checking down an alleyway down the road a little bit, so she's not aware that the guy's there or anything.
So I'm interested in this other guy with the Firebird again. Is he just standing there? Or is he walking like into the building or anything?
No, he's not coming in. He's just standing there. You see, he's got something in his hand, and it looks like either a big phone or a little tablet. There's a little bit of light shine, off his face, kind of blue glow coming off it, But he's just looking like he's kind of minding his own business, but standing against the car. Just then, somebody approaches him, a kind of cool-looking dude with over-gelled hair, some purple streaks and all that. Chinese guy, white jacket. He's got gold chains hanging off over a black T-shirt, and he talks to him, and you see him passing something over to him, and he's still got the tablet there, and he obviously takes the money, and when the guy turns and walks away, he goes into the car. He's sitting in the driver's seat now, and you see him tapping on the tablet. He's not spotted you yet.
I'm curious, and I kind of want to keep tabs on this guy. So, is there a spot that I could use, like my one with the shadows theme to kind of meld myself like into the shadow, like nearby enough that I can kind of watch for a little bit longer?
Yeah, absolutely. But I want you to do instead of a kind of sneak around necessarily, I'm actually wanting you to do a face danger right now, because he's actually sitting looking at a tablet, but he's also looking in the rear view mirror of his car. So he's keeping tabs, and so do a roll, tag whatever you want. If you're using your powers, that's fine, and see if you are spotted by him.
Okay. I'll use hide in the shadows and shadow walker.
Yep.
But I think I'm also having the weakness, not the weakness,
Yes.
the condition that I have, right?
Yep.
So,
Yep. You've got hunted 2, so that's like a -2.
-2, right? Okay. So it's a flat roll at this point. With a 9.
Nice one. Okay, so on a 79, you take a status. So so you go into the shadows, yeah. If you want, you can tell us how do you do that? What is it you're actually doing, or where are you going on the street? You feel free to just be creative and tell us where you want.
Yes, I feel like I am still faking the call for a cab, and I feel like I'm just kind of like strolling and just kind of walking by and like having the pretend conversations with a non-existent operator, and I just kind of lean back against one of the walls, and as I'm kind of like scanning the area to make sure there's nobody looking at me, I kind of like put my hand back into like maybe the alley or like part of the architecture or something like that just happens to be casting the shadow, and when I put my hand into it, I can merge back into it. And like you see when Vinzer goes in, he does the whole, like, since his just a shadowy appearance and his white eyes, then the eyes just kind of close for a second, and he just kind of opens them just a bit just to be able to see.
Yeah, I like that. While you're doing all that's perfectly fine, right? But as you're doing your little performance, right, before you kind of, completely kind of merge into the shadow, as you're doing your whole performance, you see him doing a similar performance where he takes a hat off, right, and he kind of pretends he's got a ponytail at the back, quite a long ponytail tied back, and he's kind of doing that. But you realise as he's doing that, he's checking the mirror and kind of glancing, and you think that he spots you before you you kind of go out of sight, he's spotted you too.
Okay.
So he's doing a little performance while you're doing your little performance, and then you kind of disappear out of his vision, you know, when you can actually merge into the shadow. But you know he's aware of you. If you were to reappear again, he would recognise you as the guy that looks like he's on the phone but isn't maybe really on the phone, you know.
Okay. So at the moment, then I am gonna hold my position here in the shadow.
Mm-hmm. It looks like as you're watching him, because he can't see you now that he thinks that you're gone, he's actually obviously checking out where you've gone to, you know. And he looks like he's getting kind of like itchy feet because, you know, he also notices that those girls are kind of kicking off just in their behaviour. One of them's falling about one of them's behaving, you know, just a little bit outrageously for the kind of class of place. And he also looks like he might be checking out Dan, the young guy with the wild hair, you know. He's kind of noticed that he's watching the girls as well. Is he an onlooker? Is he a friend, or is he something else? So he's been very careful. He looks like he might be going to make a move. Like
But I can't discern what that move is going to be at the moment. Just know that he's looking like he's possibly going to do something.
Let's say this: the car engine roars into life, and he lets it sit ticking over. It's like ticking over. He's not going anywhere yet, but the engine's running.
Okay.
Okay, let's cut to in the bar. You guys, anything you guys want to do?
I think I was just going to take Charles and the other one,
Greg,
out to the taxi, I believe.
Yeah, I believe you were, because you tend to do things at appropriate times.
Well, that's what they just said. They just said, can I give them a lift back in the cab?
Yes.
And there I was, just about to do so.
And there you were. Sam, what are you up to?
Yeah, I was watching Evangeline sing again, but it's nagging now at the back of my mind that Vinzer just wandered off and I don't know where he is and not sure what he's up to, and so I'm starting to get concerned.
Were you at the table when the cop was there, or were you already away at the bar?
I think I was already away at the bar, so
Yeah.
I don't quite know.
Yeah, everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Oh, so it seems a little suspicious when you just get up and walk away from the table. Okay. That's when Vinzer does it, but when it's Sam, it's A-OK.
Yeah, but you're the sneaky in the shadows guy. He's not.
That's
He's
right.
just Sam the bartender.
I'm always like, where's Vince? Oh, there he is. Where'd he go now?
And then just a few minutes earlier was the first time I ever had to do that for you.
Okay, so Raj,
How am I
yeah.
gonna...
Well, you've got two options. You can either see what Evangeline's up to, or you can head out with Raj, I guess.
I'll follow Raj out. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do yet.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, one of the guys, Charles, he slaps you on the shoulder and says, come on, we'll pay for the fare. Don't worry about it, Sam. Come on. From wherever you want to go, we'll go there, Sam, and we'll take you there and we'll pay for it, no problem.
I hear that, and I'm going to sort of just cock my head around and give Sam a sly wink.
I don't know, Charles. I live way across town.
Yeah, in Minnesota.
Raj, you have this idea that finally you can make up for the last 2 nights of like next to no work, you know?
It's going to cost you, mate. This time of night.
It's going to cost you dearly. After midnight charge as well, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys go out, and Vinzer will say that you see them all come out, and maybe Raj is going to get his car.
I'm definitely looking around to see if I see Vinzer, which I guess I don't.
If you know, unless you see two wee eye slits, you know, of light in the middle of the shadow, probably not. But we'll say that this literally happens just as all of that's happened with you, Vinzer. So while all of this was going on, they were really kind of getting themselves together and beginning to head out. We're now looking at about 1:30 in the morning or something around that.
Yeah, I think I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to risk blowing my cover at this point, but I definitely want to see like if they're coming out now, if that guy is like doing anything differently because there's this new crowd of people that are coming out.
No, he's just, you see he's continuing to watch in the mirror. He looks like he's, you know, he's not, he's kind of looks like he's waiting for somebody, you know, because he's waiting in the car. Otherwise, he'd be out, you know, saying, does anybody want to buy drugs, you know? Yeah,
your friendly neighborhood drug dealer.
Yeah, exactly. So at that point, also, while the guys come out and Raj is saying, I'll go and get the car, maybe the car's parked a bit further down the street, Raj, you see Carla walking back up the street, and she kind of gives Dan a nod. Dan's closer to where you are, and she's heading towards him and walks up and starts talking to him. And you're kind of watching between everything that's going on. The guys are coming out, Carla and Dan are having a little conversation. And as you're looking at the guy in the car, he looks in the mirror. You see him adjust the mirror, and the car comes out of park and begins to roll up the street quietly. He's heading off. You think he's probably spotted Carla and Dan talking, and he's maybe taking cold feet. Why? Don't know, but he's moving off. Not zooming away, but he's heading off.
Okay, so it's not like he's like, it looks like he's slowly tailing somebody. It looks like he's just like, now he's no longer going to be here. He's just driving away. He
is not wanting to drive off and bring any attention to himself. He's just heading off very casually.
Okay. Can I overhear what Carla and
Dan, you hear Carla saying to Dan, I think it's a false alarm. That tip off, I've not seen him. Have you? He's like, no. He says, I was watching these girls, but I think they're on something else. I don't think it's what we were looking for. So they've totally missed him. They've not spotted him.
Oh man, I knew I should have checked. I was thinking about getting that license plate number, and I didn't do that. Okay.
Well, you could always travel.
Yeah, I was thinking about maybe trying the shadow walking to like move from my current spot to go up the street more.
I mean, you could always risk it and take Raj with you, and you could turn his car into a wheelbarrow or something.
How would I turn this?
I was trying to send you mental telepathy to suddenly shadow walk into the back seat of his car, reach over, snatch his little mobile device, and then shadow walk out.
That would be like a change of game. That.
Yeah.
Just as a matter of interest, just the last song that Evangeline sung was Black Hole Sun in her style, and it was fantastic.
I think I'm going to try and go up the street a little bit, following the Firebird, and so I can't see in the shadows exactly my surroundings. I'm just kind of taking a chance, then hoping that I come out in an area that I'm still gonna be able to see him.
So is there there's no communication in terms of between you, Raj, and Sam just now about what's going on, right?
No, not at the moment. I mean, I imagine that I have your guys' cell phone number or something like that I could reach out to you, but
you wouldn't be a very good superhero team if you didn't have a phone number, you know. Emergency, Avengers. Oh no, forget it. I don't know your number.
No, we have the spotlight in the sky.
Right. Oh, okay. All right.
It's a giant turban in the clouds.
Mrs. Peel, we're needed. Wrong Avengers. Sorry.
So at that point, Raj shows up. The taxi's there. The guys are piling in. Sam, you're going with Raj. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. And so y'all jump in the cab, and so you could always go a very, very long route by following somebody up the street if you knew about it. Hint, hint. But anyway, carry on, Vinzer.
But I don't know about it. So I'm just going to drive off.
Exactly.
After this car. Going the same way.
You happen to go in the same direction.
No idea who's in it, though. I'm oblivious.
So, Vinzer, you doing the shadow walk then? Is that what you were saying?
Yeah. I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to try and do it. I don't know if I should be doing like a sneak around.
You could do that if you want.
It
It depends how dramatic you want to make this. If you're sneaking around and you're kind of tailing them, then that would make sense. If you were wanting to do something bold, like what Sam's suggesting, like kind of teleporting into the shadows of the backseat of his car, then I would call that a change the game, because it's quite a different thing.
Would we change the game or take the risk? Changing the game would kind of give myself advantage or like a boost, but taking the risk is to perform a daring, risky, dangerous, and outright stupid feat.
Yeah, happy to roll with that. Mm-hmm.
So that's a role that I haven't seen us do yet this entire game. So I think
the nice thing about that one is the MC gets to offer you a hard bargain or an ugly choice.
Mm-hmm.
So where Sam got the dame in the nightclub, you'll get the ugly sister, you know.
Yeah, I'm gonna do take the risk.
So describe to us what happens when you go into we'll call it the Shadowverse, right? When you go into the Shadowverse, what happens and what you're actually attempting to do?
So I'm seeing in among these the shadows and the moving silhouettes and stuff like that within the shadows.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing kind of things moving about quickly, and I had pushed myself back from where I was hiding in that normal shadow into the Shadowverse, and I start just kind of sprinting down towards the direction of the car, and I'm taking a chance and thinking that this is possibly the guy's car, and it should be enough where the silhouette kind of flickers a bit as it's passing street lights and stuff like that, that the random shadows get cast in there as it's passing. And I take the chance to jump in at one point right into the passenger seat and pop out of the Shadowverse, and I hope I'm in the right car.
So literally right next to him on the front passenger seat. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. And
What are you doing?
So how do you leap
Taking the
in?
risk.
How do you leap into the car? Do you kind of do a runny and jump, like you're kind of doing a long jump, or do you literally like try to dive into the car? What does that look like when you're leaping into the shadow?
Probably more of a long jump. It's like kind of a jump, like how you similar to like an Olympic long jump where you see somebody with their feet going first, because I'm assuming that if I manage to pull myself out of the shadows in the car, I'm not going to want to be face first into the floor. So
yeah, it might have looked better, but you would have been upside down. Yeah,
I'm kind of assuming that if I do this right, I'm going to be sitting in the seat, so I'm kind of imitating the fact that I'm sitting in the seat in the air. So when I pull myself out, it just kind of plop right in.
Like it. Go ahead and take a risk, a crazy risk.
So
What
hide in the shadow and Shadow Walker, which will be negated for the hunted. Would you say shadow manipulation? Or no? Because I'm not physically changing the shadow, so that's not gonna.
Yeah, I don't know if that really applies unless you want to make it apply in a strange way. I mean, when you manipulate the shadows, you could give yourself wings, shadow wings, to fly in there at extra speed or something. I don't know. That in that way you would be adding to the actual maneuver.
Yeah, why not? I don't know if I'm taking the risk. Maybe the shadows kind of help me in that way. So that hopefully it extends my jump a little bit.
Right.
In a way.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's +1.
Yep. Did I use I know every street in the city?
Sure.
I've got a general idea of the lay of how far up the street goes.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll say, all of this is happening in like moments. So we're obviously describing it's taken far longer to describe what's happening.
Yeah.
But really, from that decision, I'm going to follow and I'm going to chase. You saw the guys coming out. That's like a look down here, look down there. He's only doing about 20 miles per hour tops. He's still just beginning to pick up momentum, maybe 15 miles per hour, 20 miles per hour. So it's not as if he's speeding down the road yet, Go for it. You've got a +2, I think, now.
All right. With only +2. Sorry. That'll be an 8.
An 8. On a 7 to 9, things get messy. The MC will offer you a hard bargain or an ugly choice. Okay, so here's the bargain or the ugly choice. You misjudge the timing, right? And when you come out of the shadow, you land in the boot of the car, the trunk.
Okay.
The trunk. Or you land in the front seat, but whatever it was you were using to propelled you too hard, and when you appear in the front seat, your head bangs off the windshield and you're stunned for a moment or two.
I'll take the trunk.
Okay, so if anybody was following you now, guys, I'm wondering, you're behind, you're maybe like half, not quite a block, half a block behind, or a building or so behind. Maybe you see, would they see flashes of you when you're kind of going in and out the shadows? You're kind of running out the street, and are you kind of materializing or dematerializing, or are you literally in the shadow the whole time? I'm just wondering if they spotted any kind of movement at all. Or were you literally in the zone the whole time?
I think from the way that sorry, you're lagging a little bit. I'm just making sure you're done talking.
It's all good.
It's like he's doing slow motion kung fu.
He's
But
back.
Okay, I think he's back.
it is weird for me because I'm seeing myself like 3 seconds ago. I've now got time travel and I'm watching what happened, 3 seconds ago.
I think from the way I described it, there was no like shifting in and out.
Okay.
I wasn't really keeping an eye on him. I was just taking the chance. So I think I was in the shadow verse the whole time.
Raj, I want you to do a roll. I want you to do a change here, Raj, because you just have this knack of being at the right place at the right time. You've got this what's the word that you use for your power again? For things just happening.
Synchronicity.
You've got this synchronicity thing. I want you to do a change the game, maybe tag synchronicity. If there's something else that you think is really appropriate, see if a kind of awareness begins to dawn on you that the car that's just ahead of you is somehow strangely significant.
I'm going to tag synchronicity just in time because I'm driving.
Perfect.
And that's very much my driving power. Could I also get away with tagging transport?
Yeah.
Because I'm driving the cab.
Yeah, it's appropriate right now.
So +3, which a total of 6, and a total of 11.
Okay, so this basically gives you you can create the story tag right now, so you can tell the story. What is it that you want to happen, which makes you aware that somehow or other there is something bizarre going on with this? Because obviously you can't see Vinzer, but give us a story. If you've got an 11, you also get 2 juice. You keep getting all this juice, man. It's crazy. So you've got 2 points for using the mask, but you're not using the mask just now, so that's not appropriate.
I've got more juice than a kosher delicatessen. I'm driving along with this car in front of me, and if anything, I'm paying more attention to the conversation that's going on in the car, and at the same time trying to figure out like which way I can go that will get me a few extra dollars, and hoping that they're drunk enough that they're not going to notice. And every now and then, there's flashes from headlights of oncoming cars and the storefronts and even the street lights. And I'm not really paying much attention to it, so this is all occurring at first subconsciously. But as I'm driving along, I start getting closer to the car in front. She's driving suspiciously slowly. Every now and then I get like a sort of, the flash of light illuminates the driver of the other car. The back window of his car is maybe not quite as clean as it could be. It's a bit dusty.
Mm-hmm.
So you get like quite a well-defined silhouette. And this happens maybe as many as 8 or 10 times before it suddenly dawns on me that the guy driving the car in front appears to be wearing a Stetson and has a small dog with him sitting on the back seat.
Is its head bobbing up and down?
Yeah, that's it. It's bobbing up and down, and it occasionally says, "Oh yes, my your car insurance from Churchill." What's a synchronicity? That is the actual voice of the Churchill dog. Whoa. And this, as I say, this happens quite a few times before it occurs to me that this man in front is wearing a Stetson. I'm looking for a man who wears a Stetson, And anyone else, it might take quite a while for these two things to sort of figure, and they might be sitting there going, well, could that be the man in front? I'm just going to accept that it is.
And maybe
because this is how my life is these days.
Yeah. And maybe the line of a song that you heard in some old movie or something, on the trail of the lonesome pine. And you feel like, Stetson hats, cowboys out west on a trail. Am I following a trail right now? And Sam, are you sitting on the front? I'm guessing maybe you're sitting kind of side saddle with Raj in the front and the two guys on the back, I would imagine. Is that how you're doing it?
Okay.
Well, says Raj seems to be processing whatever it is he's processing. You kind of see some kind of thunk. There's a movement in the car, like it bounces, right? And then both of you notice that the car slightly swerves and the brake lights come on and the guy slows down and he looks like he's going to come to a stop a bit further up the road.
Well, I'm going to slow down too. I'm going to match his... I mean, he's the car in front. I've got no choice.
Yeah. So he's a little bit ahead of you yet, but he pulls in, puts it on park, he gets out and has a look. He looks at the wheels and he checks it out and he doesn't know. Meanwhile, Vinzer's in total darkness. You think your head is resting on something like a kind of, what do you call it, spanner for the wheel nuts and all that, But and then he checks out. He's only out for a couple of seconds or so. Walks halfway around the car, looks and gets back in.
What if there's another dead body in the trunk already?
When he gets out and looks around the car, I mean, that's the moment where, I mean, if that's the guy I was looking for, now I know that's the guy I was.
Yeah, that's the guy you're looking for. You see him. Sam, have you seen this guy? You didn't see him up at the original scene, did you?
I don't think I have enough info to put all this together, so I'm going to say I'm pretty much clueless.
Yeah, so you can say Raj shows up and Raj will tell you that's the guy, and you're like, what guy?
Yeah.
The guy with the Stetson hat. What guy with the Stetson hat? The guy we're looking for.
The guy we're looking for.
And then he might drop in on the trail, the trail of the lonesome pine, and you think, Raj, what on earth?
The Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia. Obviously.
He's had too many apple juice.
Duh.
No. Laurel and Hardy. Hold it up, commence your dancing. Commence. So him.
The guys in the back start joining in. Yeah, come on, Raj, give us a song. So, Vinzer, obviously you felt the car kind of come into a stop. You felt a kind of the slight swerve. It wasn't anything major. And, it comes to a stop. You hear the door opening. You hear footsteps. Kind of heads back in. The car door shutting.
Well, I'm actually thinking when I hear it come to a stop and I hear like the car door open, I don't know a Firebird that well, but does it happen to have that little part that can push out from the front seat or from the back seat, excuse me, that goes like into the trunk, like normally how they have, so you can put like longer things in there?
Every games master's worst fear.
Yeah, I know everything about Firebird because I've got 5 of them. So yes, it comes out like that in the middle, but there's a tiny little area that then you have to push through as well. So
Okay, that's all I need, because when I hear the door open, I want to kind of push it open a crack so I can see. Is the other guy still in the car too, or is it just the guy with the Stetson who originally got out?
It's just the guy that got some stuff off him, left and went to the club. So it's just himself.
And this guy still had the PDA, the palm computer or whatever. Can I see it from this opening?
No, you think it might be in either he's got it or it's in one of the front seats. It's not going to be that easy now. Come on.
Oh no! I figured not. I figured this was the perfect time for me to actually use my shadow manipulation.
Ah. So you hear him kick the back tire when you're doing this. He boots one of the back tires to see if there was something wrong with the tire. He's round the back, and he looks like he's beginning to head round back into towards the car door.
If he's when he goes to like kick the tire, I'm just gonna mess with him a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to try and use the shadow manipulation or shadow puppetry to shift his gear into like neutral, so it starts rolling.
Okay, so you're using his shadow. Is that what you're saying, or just a shadow?
Just a shadow, yeah.
Right. Okay. Go ahead. Give us a roll. What are we calling this? This is
Yeah, what kind of roll is this? Stop holding back. No, totally kidding.
It feels like change the game, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. I think it's change of gears anyway. This is a new move called change the gears. Go ahead and change the gears.
Raj, why are we stopped?
Yeah. Now, as he's rolling, we're gonna you tag whatever you want to tag, and don't tell us the result yet. So what's happening behind you? Because you guys have no idea what he's up to in the trunk of the car.
There's something going on here. Why? I sometimes notice things, and sometimes things just happen, and this is one of those things. You're just gonna have to trust me on this. That there's just, I don't know.
A hand slaps Raj's shoulder and says, "I trust you, Raj. I trust you. You just take us wherever you want to go."
Yeah, I look. I'm sorry and everything, but I think we need to follow this. We need to follow this car. Yeah, that's what we need to do. We need to follow this car.
Okay, you see the guy kind of walking towards the door. Back to Vinzer. Vinzer, go ahead and what did you get? What's your result? 4?
3.
Okay, so describe how pathetically the shadows moved and what didn't happen.
It just so happens that where the car stopped is right under a street lamp. So I can't quite get the shadows to maneuver in a way that they're able to grab a hold of the shifter and apply the brake at the same time.
You just turn the windshield wipers on.
Yeah. Let's go with that. I like that. Let's say the wipers start going, even though it's not raining. So the guy opens the door and he's like, "What the hell?" and he flicks up the wiper stick and all of this activity. Maybe you were distracted a bit. Maybe the guy saw you. So I don't know. Why don't you face some more danger, Vinzer, and see if he spotted you? And because this, or at least spotted the arm rest down.
Uh-oh.
So my shadow abilities were being used for that. So I would say that maybe keep calm under pressure.
Sounds good. Yeah. You want to try and duck into the shadows as well, in case he saw you kind of doing your thing. I mean, you're peeking through this armrest bit, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just peeking through the armrest at the moment. No, I'm gonna use that as like a last resort. Like just bailing on the whole thing is gonna be my last resort.
Okay, go for it.
That gets me a 12.
Nice.
At a 5 and a 6, so the +1 is the 12, right?
Okay, so nothing happens, nothing untoward. He doesn't notice that armrest is down. You're totally fine. He gets in the car. He's mumbling and muttering to himself. He's quite frustrated tonight. He puts the accelerator down and he kind of takes off a bit at speed, Raj.
Oh, I'm gonna follow him.
It's pretty amazing how badly I messed up, and I don't get noticed.
So, yeah, you hear him muttering something like, "This car must be haunted or something," you know. So off he goes. Let's just say you're able to follow him. You carry on. You're kind of heading up to the kind of hilly part of the city. You go outside of past the blue collar district. You head up. There's a kind of rise on the city that heads towards coastal, kind of coast, and there's apartments, a lot of apartment blocks up that end. It's a little bit separate from the city centre. It's a bit separate from the blue collar area and stuff. There's one or two nice apartments. There's normal apartment blocks, so that's where you're heading. And there's some kind of fancier stuff on the hillside. Jeff, do you mind just popping a picture up for me? And it's number 7, please. It's called New Places. So you're driving up a winding road. If you imagine something like a little bit like San Francisco or coastal California or something like that, and it looks like he's heading. You can see the apartments at the bottom there. It looks like he's heading for those apartments, and then the car. You kind of get rolled about a bit now, Vinzer, in the back. You really need to actually push your hands and legs against the kind of different areas of the trunk, because it's bending to the left, bending to the right. There's a lot that pulls into the front of those apartments, and then you think Raj and Sam, you think you're going into those apartments, and then it bends round to the right, and then it goes up to the hill, and you can see the kind of condo building right in the middle. So he heads up to the back of there, and he pulls into the driveway right behind that stunning apartment right on the top of the hill overlooking the city. So what do you want to do, Raj, in terms of how... Now, there's only like 3 or 4 of those kind of buildings right at the top of the ridge. So how far back do you stay? How close are you going to follow them? Because
Does it look like the road goes all the way around past the house?
We'll say yes, it goes down the other side of the hill, and that heads to the kind of coastline somewhere.
Okay, well, I'll just drive past.
Okay.
Taking note of which house he's going into, but then
he literally parks right behind that apartment that sticks out, the condo kind of house.
Okay.
As you drive by, Charles is going, "We're going on a journey. Come on, Raj. Are you taking us down the coast, Raj? Yeah, let's go. We should have got more beers in."
Hey!
Meanwhile, the meter.
That's an English attempt at doing the woo thing that Americans do. I can't do it.
Woohoo.
But I'm trying to do that thing, yeah. Where people go USA, USA, woo, like that. I'm trying to woo. See, I can't do it. It doesn't. It's not in any way convincing. I can't do it.
Okay.
I have this English organ that contracts my stomach in when I try and do it, and I go woo. The embarrassment viscera.
Okay, so let's kind of pull this part of the story to a close. I want you to think, what where do you go from here, right? Here's the scene. Vinzer, you're in the boot, you've been holding yourself together because you were afraid that maybe we'd hear you getting banged about in the boot, in the trunk, because of the movement in the winding road. You think you might have gotten away with it. He's not opened the trunk yet. You hear, as the car kind of comes to a halt, you hear the crunch of gravel as it kind of coasts into wherever it is he's parking up. And then you hear the door opening. You hear footsteps coming around the car, crunch, crunch, crunch. Not far away from where you are in the trunk. Meanwhile, the guys in the car are having a party in the back seat.
I'm going to pull in as soon as I'm out of eye shot.
Okay, so Sam and Raj, what do you think you might do next?
Well, over the din from the back seat, I'm just going to pull in, and I'm going to look at Sam and just say, I'm going to have to go and have a look.
What?
Well, it's just like all these. This is just how, you know how it is. I mean, this is just how it is. I'm getting all these like signs again. There's something going on. I was told to look out for that guy. The guy at the bar asked me to look out for that guy, and I said I would look out for that guy. Then we left the club, and then we're literally just driving down the road behind that guy.
And you've got a phone number for the detective, yeah?
Yes.
So maybe you're filling him in the conversation a little bit.
I think I'm going to phone him as well, actually.
Here's a problem, guys. Where's Vinzer gone? Again.
Well, I was just going to ask that. I was just going to ask, where is Vinzer? Where did he go? Did he say anything to you, or is he here?
He's in our trunk now.
Look, screw this. I'm going to go and look. I'm going to go and just have a look and see what's going on up with that house. At the very least, I've got to go and get the house number so that I can phone this guy up and tell him where his man is. Once I've done that, once I've got the house number and the license plate number, there you are. That's it. Job done. We can go. But I've got to do this because it's right in front of me.
Be careful.
Well, at the very least, he's going to give me some money for doing it, even if nothing else happens. So,
and just at that moment, in the darkness of the trunk of the other car, you hear a key going in to the back of the trunk, and a click, and then we fade to black, and the scene ends, and follow us for the next enthralling episode of City of Mist When the World Breaks. For anybody joining us today, thanks for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed it and enjoy the story as we go along. Keep watching. Let us know what you think, and we'll see you next time.
When you were here before, you couldn't look you in the eye. You're just like an angel. Your skin makes me cry. You float like a feather